Hey guys, it's Veronica with Night Stitch, and I'm here with another video. And yeah, let's get started. I have some whips. I've been working on Clouds Factory's Legendary Creatures alphabet cell, and I finished Ifrit on March 2nd. So I was a little behind with him as far as finishing him in February, but that's okay. I did his skin 1/1, and there's two different colors in there, which was DMC 729, but I guess I had a bobbin of it from long ago, and it was either labeled wrong or the dye lot changed, but I don't think DMC's dye lot changes that much for their regular gloss, so it's possible it was so old it got labeled wrong. So, but it's okay because he's got like a gradient of like his hand turns into fire, so I didn't think that the rest of his skin being random different colors was that big of a deal. I changed the back stitch to Ruby Krynic and I added a bead for the eye. And then his eyes are also Ruby Krynic. And then I started the hippogriff there. So, and this eagle needle minder, whoa, I don't know what just happened. This eagle needle minder is from No Name Needle Minders. And I put that there because the hippogriff has the face of an eagle. And I didn't have anything Greek for needle minders, so an eagle it is. And the fabric is 32 count Abracadabra Lugano from Ship's Manor. My second whip is a restart. This is my project bag for it, and I wrote it on here upside down, but it's on like a keychain thing. So if you remember last time I showed you this was on this piece of Lugana, and it was wrong, so everything down here needed to be frogged, and I was trying to do it, and you can see I did a little bit where like there's fuzzies and stuff, but I got tired of frogging, and then I haven't really done a whole lot anyway. There's this whole piece of fabric that, yeah, I've like barely started, so I decided I was gonna say no more frogging for me. I'm just gonna restart. So I will cut the threads off that are really long that have been parked, and I'll keep those on. Put those back on the bobbins, and I started again on this piece of printed fabric from Zweigart. So the front has modeling on it. It's vintage country mocha fabric, so to me it looks like sand. And this needle minder I made myself. It's a pyramid with an eye on it. And I just have a little start here in the middle. I'm working on the symbol that looks like Wally. It's her cheek. I think it's like the shadow on her face. That's her cheek, but like that's her nose. But that's my restart, and I'm enjoying it. So, brought my pattern book over. I mean, but then I didn't show you the... I'm sure you know, this is Egyptian queen. So. And then the other width I worked on the world's postage stamp by Soda Stitch, and I'm working in Sydney over here. And then this, I want to say that I got the idea from Emily of Eclectic Possessions. I watched her Whip Parade video recently, and she had, these aren't the same tags, but the hanging it off the side of the project bag is where I got the idea from, and she had put, like, she'd gotten keychains, and then there was some, like, pack of, like, circular things that she got, but I scrapbook, so I have a lot of these. This is actually like just a cutout, and it came in like a pack of a bunch of different shapes and things for scrapbooking, but I took the circle one and I put it on here because I had a bunch of these keychains and stuff too when I was making jewelry and just trying to figure out random things, but they've just been sitting around doing nothing, and so when I saw Emily's video I was like, oh, inspiration. So that is how I am labeling my project. So this is the world's postage stamp. And this is on MCG Textiles fabric, which I know is a much hated brand by some people, but that's okay. I think it's alright. It's really thick. It feels very, very different than a lot of cross-stitch fabrics that I have used, so I understand why some people don't like it, but it's okay. I don't feel like there's any distortion or anything with things not being square. It's been alright for the most part, because I've had these little things are little squares of 9 stitches and they look alright. Oh, I also dyed this myself. This is just regular antique white even weave. That's my progress so far. And I've got part of the opera house started. I was substituting some of the colors because this green is actually like moss or something, but this is iris. Like 861 or something, because I didn't have the 3819 that it called for. And then 646 I also didn't have, so I substituted in, it's one of these grays, I don't remember which one, but I substituted in like a darker gray that matched the 646 somewhat, as it was like a old Dimensions kit floss I had from a kit I threw away, so I didn't really want to waste the floss, so I just put it in there. So there's that. If I'm poking the screen, I'm just trying to rezoom, refocus, because I don't really want to be blurry. So. And then my third thing is a new start. It's by Little Mojo. It's the Gryffindor crest. Gryffindor crest number 3. I think she has multiple ones that she does. So. This is 32 count Lugana. It's called Storm Chaser, and it's by Fiberlicious. And I only need half of this piece, so that's why it's on top, but this is my start. And I've got a Slytherin needle minder from Needle Attraction. Sorry, I'm having an issue with this. So that's the start. It doesn't look like anything really, but yeah. And I think for me, stitching with black thread is probably not my favorite, because it's hard to see. Like it's good because the coverage is nice, but then it's also bad because the coverage is nice. So when I'm counting, I have to get my light exactly right so I can see how many X's I've actually done, so I can make sure I don't do more than I need to. And also, like, if when you stitch over two and then you've got to make sure that the needle goes up in the correct number over in the hole, sometimes it's hard with the black because I can't find which hole I need to go in on, whatever. But I've been working on this 1 hour every day because it's a gift and I don't want to get burnt out on it. So I started that on March 2nd, I think. So I've done like 3 or 4 days at 5. So I've done 5 hours on it so far. And last night I was trying to do 1 hour, but then I set the timer and I was working on it, and then my husband came home and then he wanted me to go do something with him. So I forgot to turn off the timer, so I'm like really bad at doing the time thing. So I ended up just stitching on this for the entire night before I went to bed because I usually stitch before bed, so I probably got in more than 5 hours, I guess, but I'm just doing that because I don't want to get burnt out because it's a gift, and last time I did a gift, I sort of got burnt out for like a few months, so then I had to rush to finish it, and I don't want to do that this time, so I'm trying out the 1 hour thing, and it seems to be working alright, so other than last night's craziness, but I still worked on it, so. Okay, those are the things that I have worked on, and I have just a small piece of haul. I went to Michael's and I got this kit. It's Our Home, and it's a house is made of walls and doors. Our home is made of hopes and dreams. So, walls and beams. Huh? Reading backwards is hard. Yeah, so I actually have this kit on my wish list on 123 or everything cross stitch, but I haven't bought it. Like, it was just in my wish list, and when I saw it at the store, I was like, oh, it's right here. I could just pick it up right now and not have to wait for delivery and not have to pay for shipping, and so I just bought it because sometimes I put things on my wish list and I just let them stay there, and then if I go back and then look at it, like I'll clean out my wish list sometimes and be like, why did I put that in there? Or sometimes I'll put in two similar things because I'm not sure which one I want, and then I'll like pick one eventually after a few months or something. But if there's something in my wish list that's been in there for like months and months and months, and it's survived all of the cleanups that I've put my wish list through, then I must actually really like the pattern because I never took it away. So this was one of them because I had it in there. It's been in there for a couple months and I just haven't bought it. So I bought it now, so I have that. I'll probably dye the fabric because I always do, because white fabric and like cream fabric is just strikes me as a little boring, so I don't really want to do that. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'll change the colors of the words or not, just because everything's kind of designed to be overlapping, so I don't want to make anything too like crazy so you can't actually read it. So I might keep the words the same, but I'll definitely change the fabric color. And I'll probably use the thing in here because I don't mind the fabric, I just don't like the color. So then I joined No Name Needle Minder's Needle of the Month Club, and so I got the queen size one because I like the really big needle minders. So the queen sized one for March is door. Just a green door. I wish it would focus. There we go. Isn't it gorgeous? So there's that. And now I'm really thing. Okay. One day my phone will cooperate with me and stop making me blurry. And she sent me a free one, which is cool. It's a little crown button. It's wooden. Oh. Okay. So that's Needle Minder of the Month for, I guess, February. I don't know. Maybe it was March. No idea. She sent me an invoice for March, so maybe this is February, but you know, it threw me off because it's a green door and March is green because that's St. Patrick's Day. So anyway, so there's one other thing I wanted to talk about, I guess. The other day I saw a post, and it was an interesting post. It was somebody that had asked the question to many people in the group about what are the like rules of cross stitch that you break, because there's like, and I said I don't actually know what the rules are, but I probably break all of them because I don't really follow rules. I mean, I just like make X's, you know, and that's kind of what I do, and like that's all that I. So then I was curious, and I was like, well, what are rules? Like, what do they say that is, you know, necessary? I mean, none of it's necessary. Like you guys know, you just kind of do your thing and you just make your stuff, and we're good. But so I went to crossstitch.com and I looked up. They have like tutorials or whatever, and they have like a bunch of stuff that like describes kind of what people have said the rules are. So I thought I'd look at that and see like what's what, and then kind of discuss like what I do that's different or the same, or you know. So the first one was fabric, and so um, I guess it's like this that progression that people talk about. So like you start with Ada and then you go to even weave and then you go to linen, and then most people prefer linen because of, you know, the feel, or I don't know, whatever reason they have for it. And I started with Ada because I started with kits to teach myself, and then I went to even weave, which I did Lugana, and then I stopped because I like Lugana, and so I kind of felt like, well, I like it, so I'm just going to keep using it because it's comfortable to me, and I like the way it feels, and I like how it looks, and yeah, so I just kind of stopped. I guess I didn't go the progression, I didn't finish the line, I don't know, like, um, yeah, and then I guess something else I see a lot on groups and things when people ask questions about fabric is like they things about, like if they get a kit or if they get a pattern and it says like the required or recommended, usually is what they call it, recommended fabric, they always ask like, do I have to stitch it on the recommended fabric? And of course the answer is no. Like even if you have a kit and you don't like the fabric, you don't have to use it. You can just substitute something else completely. And so I find that if I do a kit and I don't mind stitching on Ada, it's a little bit stiffer than what I like in the Lugana, but it's not a big deal. Like I can, but I find I always dye the fabric because I don't like the color of the Ada that comes in the kit. So I've definitely changed that aspect of it. But I changed, like, when I do full coverage, I usually go for 25 count Lugana, even if it says, this can be done on 14 count or 16 count. And the only thing that I would recommend if you're going to change the fabric is to make sure that you have enough fabric and to make sure that your design fits in the piece. So like if you're going to do, if the pattern says 14 count and it'll be this size because it's this many stitches and you want to do 32 count, all you have to do is take the number of stitches and divide it by the count. So for 32, you're going to do 2 over 2. So generally you'll do 2 over 2. But, so that's my example. But like if you're going to do a pattern that recommends 14 count and then you want to change it to 32 count 2 over 2, then you would take the number of stitches and divide it by 16 because that's how big it's going to be. So that's all you have to do, is just you have to do a little bit of math to figure out the pattern. But like if it says 14 count and you want to do 32 count over 2, your design will fit on a smaller section because 16 count is smaller than 14 count. So that's the only thing you really have to like make sure you get right when you're changing fabric. So, but other than that, like color and count and whatever, it really doesn't matter. You can do your project on whatever you want to do. And so, yeah, that's my discussion on the like progression of Ada even weave linen fabric stuff that is like, I can't talk, so yeah, so that's my thoughts on that stuff. So, and then I thought I would do one of these little like guideline rule things on the end of each of my videos. So if you don't want to see this part, you can just see my whips and stuff and what I bought, and then you can sign off if you want. Or yeah, but anyway, so I'll do another one of these little things on the end of my next video on a different topic. So yeah, so I will see you guys in the next video, and I wanted to thank all of my subscribers that have been commenting and watching my videos and listening to me even when I have a bad day. I really appreciate all of you, so thank you so much for that, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video, so bye.